Here we go. I'm so excited to talk to Jeremy because I always listen to his comedy and he's so funny. Man, I just like your style. Like,
Thanks.
I'm just a fan. Like, I feel like I fit to listen to you. So Jeremy is an English teacher and a comedian. He lives in Vietnam, which is even makes me more excited to talk to you. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for asking.
So to be honest, the moment you are from the US.
Yeah.
So the moment you are like, I'm from the US, but I live in Vietnam, I'm like, wow, what attracts you to go to Vietnam? The women's, the weather, what's going on there?
Well, like it started a long time ago. It started like 6 years ago. I was like, my friend talked me into traveling to Asia and never left the United States. And my friend's like, yeah, I'll be there to help you. And then like my friend, I never met up with him. He lives in Bangkok. He's married. He's got a child now. And I still never met up with him after 6 years. But I was originally supposed to be here for 3 months, and now it's been 6 years.
Oh my God.
So I guess it wasn't really part of the plan to stay here. I got here. I enjoyed myself. I kind of made some friends. I guess maybe it was all of the cheap beer that was here in the beginning that got me to stay.
Wow, but that's like, isn't it weird for you to plan to go for 3 months? Like, I'm coming in 3 months and till now you are not back.
Well, like when I worked for this company, I worked for them maybe at the time about 12 years. And then I tell them, hey, I've never done anything like this in my life. I kind of got the opportunity to go with a friend. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm sorry about just leaving work, but I'm giving you a month's notice or something. And my boss was like, well, we'll just buy you a laptop and you can work from there. So that's one of my jobs I was talking about. So they send me some work, like maybe once a month or something. So I still do that work. And everything's online. It's cheap here. The weather's always nice. There are beautiful women, but I'm trying to avoid that this year. And yeah, it's pretty nice. I don't have to
avoid it due to COVID.
Say that again.
You are avoiding the women because of COVID.
Yeah, COVID's been rough. Staying inside's pretty rough. Vietnamese people are very open and friendly. So yeah, I think the last 2 years of everybody just being locked up is kind of a deal. It's a big deal. So,
I guess if you wear mask, you have sex, you are good.
They wore masks before the pandemic even started for like protection from pollution or just like while they're driving and stuff.
Wow.
So they're big about covering their skin. So I don't know if they were like trying to protect themselves while they're driving, or if they're just trying to cover up as much skin as possible to protect them from the sun.
Wow. So is it too hot all the year?
Oh, it's all day. Yeah, it's here in Ho Chi Minh City. It's always hot. And it's weird because I'll see people with a long sleeve shirt and they'll have like winter gloves on and they got a hat and they got everything covered so that none of the sun will touch their body.
But how is Vietnam? Because I know nothing about Vietnam. Is it safe? Is it
I mean, I would say it's pretty safe. I mean, of course, with traveling any place, you might run into some problems, but being here for 6 years, I've not had many problems. And maybe the few that I did have, I was probably looking for trouble, being drunk or something like that, but typically, I don't have a problem with nobody. There's crazy people, But you know, you just move away from them, walk away from them. They don't bother you. So there's not too much robbery or any type of theft. I mean, there are those things, but it's not typically from like a person walking down the street. They might rip you off on the tourist streets, you know, charge you more for something or whatever. But most of the time they're pretty friendly. Um, at least to like Americans, or I guess white people, they want to learn English, so they want to talk to you. And then with the South Vietnamese people, America was here helping them during the war. So they're kind of still, even with the war and all of that type of thing, they're still very friendly to Americans.
Okay, that's really good. So Americans can go for holidays in Vietnam. Is there like Americans who come for holidays there?
I mean, that's how I came here. I came here, I went to Thailand, I went to Malaysia, and then I came to Vietnam. And I stayed in Vietnam about 6 months. I went to a couple of other places while I was here, but I kind of got a place and I started living here with the friend, and I stayed here and I would just go take an airplane somewhere else. And then I stayed here for like 6 months and I was like, well, I don't have a lot of money, so I got to find a job. And then that's when I found the teaching job.
So you teach Vietnamese or?
Yeah, I teach Vietnamese people from all different ages. Like I've had students that were 13 years old, and the oldest guy I know, his name is Chan or Tran. I don't know his name. I forgot it right now. Tan, and he's 85. He's a retired math teacher, and it's weird, you know. You want to learn a language that's so late in life, but you know, it's very cool that he's always very interested in learning and very smart guy.
Yeah, I guess when you are at that age, you are learning English, but for different goals. Like
Sure.
I see comedians that they are like on their like 70 and they just started comedy. And they are like, we are just depressed, we are not happy, it's an escape, but we know we're not gonna do anything. So how about you? When did you start comedy?
Well, like maybe the very first time I went on stage was I think Facebook says it was 2011, so it'll be 11 years this year. But that first year I went one time, then the second year I maybe 4 times, and then the third year I was like, I'm gonna really start to do this more, and I'm gonna come here every week. And then after coming to the one every week, I found a second one. So I was doing 2 every week in the US before coming to Asia. So I guess like really trying to work at it, like actually writing material and trying to go up on as many open mics and things that I can do, probably 7 years.
Well, and in Vietnam, is there comedy?
Yeah, there's a big expat community, big Western community, big English speaking community. So there's probably, I guess, about maybe 15 Westerners or people that do English speaking comedy. And before the pandemic, we were doing lots of different shows and things. So it was really good. Not really getting paid a lot of money. Kind of based off of what the ticket sales are. So there's one time I did 8 minutes and I got $25. But then there was one time that I did 25 minutes and I got $8. So it kind of is a couple of free beers and just stage time to practice and stuff like that. And we're doing shows. We have a couple of open mics. So that was actually like kind of the reason that I stayed. I did find the comedy community after being here for maybe 4 months. And then they had open mics every week, at least one. So I continued to stay here for that. And then, yeah, within the past 3 years, the scene really got pretty big and we were doing lots of things. I mean, I did 25 minutes. That was pretty cool. I went to the middle of the country and I got paid like $65 to do like 25 minutes. That was pretty cool. So I've done some things. It's all right. It's fun.
But it's good that you can. I don't know if I will go for 25 minutes. Like, how do you go? How do you memorize it? How long have you been writing it? What's your
Um,
steps?
well, like I think a lot of my jokes, they have some truth to them. So they all kind of probably start with some truth. And then, you know, you add some punchlines, and even some of the punchlines are actually true as well. So some jokes, it's weird because I've had some jokes that I started before I came to Vietnam about Vietnam. I was learning the language and I wrote this joke. And now that I've been here and I've said that joke so many times, it's very different than it was when I first started it. It has like a kind of same premise, but there's a lot of that has changed with it. So I guess like you just pick the jokes that you think are the best and you practice and you read them, and you like I got the set list and it was pretty small. I wrote everything here. So like that's all the things that I had for 25 minutes. And basically each one of those is like, okay, here's the joke, here's the couple of punchlines. But there's just like one word, you know. So okay, I see that word. I know where to go next.
That's cool. I do the same. I sometimes write the keywords on the chat when we are
Yeah.
having our online session. And even one time I sent it by mistake, and I was like, "Sorry, guys, it's just I'm fixing it." But when you say it's because, look, to be honest, some people, just when I see you, when you start talking, like the voice, the way you look, it's just fit me. I don't know about other people. Other people
Okay.
might like someone else, you know. I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this is very important in comedy. Like you and Joshua, I die just when you start doing your things. So, what do you mean about truth? Like, do you have funny life? Do you always fuck things up like me, how I fucked the hosting yesterday, or what do you do?
Well, I mean, I don't purposely screw things up. I guess like, yeah, I have screwed things up in my life or made bad decisions. And kind of just be able to take those things and make them into a story. Um, so I'm not sure what jokes I've told you before, but yeah, I would say everything has a truth. Like I have jokes about my dad. My dad's name is Stan. One of my jokes is Stan the Man. And that's a funny joke because he said he introduced himself as Stan the Man, and this was the 90s, so there was no need to clarify, you know. There wasn't, it was
Oh,
man and there was no like gender qualifications. So I don't know why he had to say Stan the Man, because everybody knew he was the man. But that was true. My dad's name is Stan. And whenever I was a kid, he did say, "You can call me Stan the Man." And he like put his hands on his hips like he's Superman. And I was like, okay, whatever, Dad. So I mean, I think everything that I have kind of starts from some truth. There's some jokes that I have that maybe they don't start with something that's true about myself, but they kind of fit my persona that I have, or it's not a persona, but I mean, it's just me. But that would be the person that I am on stage. So I've done a lot of dumb things. Sometimes I tell myself I'm doing dumb things so I can write jokes about them. Sometimes dumb things just happen. And after a while, I'm like, okay, yeah, that is kind of dumb. I don't feel so bad about making that mistake. I'm gonna make some jokes about it, or I'm gonna try to talk about it. So I think, yeah, with that, you know, I can see one word and like, okay, Stan the Man. Okay, that's if I just wrote my dad, I'm sure I could talk about my dad for 10 minutes. But if it was a set, I would probably have more details, dad, this joke, this joke, this joke, to set it up and call back, and I'd work it out to where it was. But if I was to get lost, you could always, pull something else. Oh, dad, I'm talking about my dad. Here's another story about my dad. So I don't know. That was kind of scary to do 15 minutes. But again, I brought my paper.
Yeah, that's good. But how do you sometimes just keep thinking and jokes come to your mind, or sometimes like you are driving and this pop up to your mind and you write it down, or like you are teaching people, or do you specifically have to be thinking about comedy when you jokes comes and punchlines and premise?
No, like it comes to me all the different times. Like so normally I try to like carry I have a little notebook. I don't know, I think I have 4 or 5 of these little notebooks, and they fit in my pants pocket. So it's really easy to just put it in my back pocket and always have it there. I realize sometimes my phone, I had an old phone until recently. So sometimes I'm trying to open the thing to type in my joke, and the app doesn't open. So then I lose what I'm trying to put into my phone because it's like so worded out like a specific way, and then I lose it, and then it's kind of sometimes gone. So anytime I see something that I think is funny, anytime I hear someone say like a group of words that kind of just sounds funny, anything that makes someone else laugh that I say, and then I just write it in the book. And sometimes you come back and you like look at it a few days later, you're like, what the heck was I talking about there? Yeah, that makes no sense. I don't know what I was talking about, but I like this little thing. Maybe I can make a punchline with it, or maybe I could use this as a setup or something. But I have I write in a notebook. I got a thing on my phone. I got emails that I've sent to myself. I got Word, record my voice whenever I'm just walking or something and I don't have time to write it down. I just record it and try to listen to those things. And sometimes you get some stuff. I got a lot of stuff that I don't know what to do with. It's just ideas.
Okay, I think it's everyone is like similar, because for me, every time I have ideas, I would record video, like just open the video and talk to myself. And then I would try to write them down and put some energy, just stay there and try. Like, I feel like you always have to give the jokes the energy and the time. You cannot know, oh, it's going to be funny, oh, this I'm gonna nail it. Or I think it's just put it there and put some effort. And that's why I don't want to say I don't like, but I don't enjoy to listen to comedians who I feel that they didn't put any effort in their jokes. So he would come and he would tell me a story that anyone can tell. Like, I was like, you can feel when he's saying the story that there is no punchlines. He didn't work on it. It's just raw. So I'm like, do some work at least to show people that it's worth it. But at the end, you don't know what will make people laugh. You just think these things are funny, yeah?
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes I've had times where I had the right energy and I delivered these jokes and it was like an amazing, good set. And I go home and I listen to the recording like, wow, that's awesome. And then I try to do it again, and maybe the energy's not there, or maybe the room is not really feeling it, or there's lots of different things that can, throw things off when you're on stage or performing. Someone says something, now you're distracted, you're talking to them, but you're also forgetting what you were going to say next or what your punchline was or whatever. So that energy can change based on many different things. You know, if somebody dies in your family or there's an accident, you're not going to just be able to go up on stage and be happy-go-lucky. You know, you might go up on stage and talk about what happened. You know, my family member's in an accident. I don't really know how to make you guys be funny, but some comedians can just, sometimes for myself, I surprise myself to where they're like, here's a word, make a joke about this. And then, okay, I got a story about that. And you start talking, and then boom, you got some kind of punchline that's there. And it's normally something that's truthful, you know, like that really happened, or something like that, to where people are like, wow, that happened to me. Or, you know, I thought about that before, but I just never said that.
That's cool, because for me also, it's really painful what's going on in Yemen. It's so sad, and my jokes, like, I feel like talking about Yemen, you don't need to exaggerate. It's already there. And I'm very thankful that I'm able to tell people what's going on and make the pain funny. Not just that I'm making fun about the pain or about people. I'm putting some emotions there, and yeah.
It kind of I've understood a comedian will bring your attention to something that's, you know, nobody's really talking about, and they'll do it in a funny way.
Exactly.
So whether I mean, I don't know how you feel about the Dave Chappelle thing. We don't have to talk about that, but like, I mean, he was kind of, the way I understand it, he was trying to bring attention to something, the transgender community, and the way that you know, okay, don't worry about that. But you know, like, I'm not a commentator on his thing. But you know, I think he was trying to bring attention to a certain topic, and he used humor to be able to do that. And in comedians, I think they do that, and the real comedians, the real good people, do make you think about, you know, things that maybe you never really took into your mind to think about. You're like, wow, he made a really good idea, and it was funny, but why are we not, you know, doing this? Why don't we do this? It's a great idea. It was a joke, but
That's right.
so I think that's okay. I mean, I think that's great, especially if you can do it to where you really get somebody thinking about something. I think in USA we have like a lot of politics. Let's say you know, that's kind of a touchy situation, because you may like offend some of your audience if you're talking about Democrats or Republicans or something like that. But some comedians can do that to where they can just, you know, I don't have any examples right now, but there are, I guess, like George Carlin, like the way he does his rants and things, they were kind of not really jokes, but they were funny, because everybody was like, oh, we're a bunch of idiots, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why I like comedy, because it's like, I feel like the best way to send your message is by getting the dopamine hitting up and people laughing, and you are sending something. I feel like the best way of education is comedy if you know how to deliver. Um, yes, you wanted to say something?
I would say that I read something before that with every type of like art, like music, if you know, you do plays or you're an actor or something, if you're a musician, you sing a song, maybe not everybody likes it. You maybe get a little clap or something, you know, you get a little response, but then you play all of the favorites that everybody loves. And at the end of the show, you get a big clap, you know, so at the end, you know, the show's going to be good. Your fans are there. You played the favorite songs. You did a good job. Whereas like a comedian, if you lose the attention of the audience, then it can go bad. If you know, it's instant. If you say something that somebody doesn't like, you could start an argument with somebody in the audience. You get a heckler, they're trying to give you a problem, you know.
Yeah.
All kinds of things can happen, and you're getting that immediate feedback. Okay, that's not funny.
Yeah.
What do I do now to be funny? But
Yeah.
sometimes you definitely don't want to give the audience the control. You know what I'm like? If they see that you're just bombing, you know, you said this joke and it didn't go well, and you're like, oh, what do you guys want me to talk about? Well, you kind of just gave away your show, and they're not going to listen to you anyways. Because if you're not going to tell me what you want to talk about, you know, I didn't come here to give you my ideas and hear what my thoughts are. I came here to have you make me laugh. So if you lose the audience, you know, then there you go. They could be a problem. Certain audiences, they boo, get off the stage. You know,
Oh my
I'm
God.
sure it happens. It hasn't happened to me, but I've seen videos where comics had problems and things. So the audience can be the show and make the show like 100%, and then they could also probably just take the show right away from you, you know.
Wow, that's true.
So you have to bring the jokes. It's like kind of everything has to be right for like it to be, you know, the perfect show. So each time you go up on stage, you're learning something. You're like, oh, I made a mistake. It was a small one this time, so I'm getting a little bit better, you know. But next time, let's try to remember to not do that same mistake. Let's, you know, practice our lines, or let's not drink so many beers before we go on stage, or, you know, let's, you know, whatever it is. But each time you make a mistake, you make a mental note, you try to make a change or something, and then you move on. So I think that's pretty interesting as well. Like oh no, I don't like that. Okay, I like that. Okay, I don't like that. You know, like, oh, I like the whole show. The show was good, but really the jokes, you know, that's what you're looking for. It's
Mm,
kind of
I agree with you, and I feel like when you have audience, you are talking, so you have to show that you are in control, you are there. And if you don't have the respect, nobody will hear you. So that's very important. And look, it's weird because trust me, I had one set I was recording, and there were thunder of laughs. People were dying, and I was like, I'm gonna say the same set for other audience. Nobody gives a fuck.
it's real tough when it's kind of just comedians. So sometimes you will get like a good Zoom open mic, like you do the online, and they're paying attention, they're ready. But if it's been something that you've maybe come to many times, and that there's a few people, they come to the same open mic every week. I see them online, and they tell the same jokes every week. No problem, you know. But also, like I think you said, you got to kind of change it, you know. If I would notice, if you feel that something is working, maybe put it somewhere else and save it for another time. You know, you don't need to continue to say it if you feel that you've got it to a point where it's good. And so oftentimes, you know, how many times do you have to say that? For just depends, I guess. But I have I've built up so many jokes or so much stuff that I could do 5 minutes of here, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, and then, you know, you can take and move things around and try to tell them differently. You put this joke with this joke or something like that, so that it might seem like I'm always doing new stuff, but it's just really, I think I have so much.
I told you it's all about effort. Like it make people feel if like the audience never seen you and you say your jokes, cool. But if we see you 2 to 3 times and we know your jokes more than you do, like I already saved them in my brain,
Yeah, yeah,
then show me some effort that you are making my time worth it. Like
yeah,
did you yesterday you see how I come out and I talked about the hosting.
yeah, yeah.
I put some new lines to my old jokes, and then when I finished all the jokes that I have some lines on them, I just start talking about the hosting,
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
to be
the,
boring.
yeah, you just kind of practice a little bit what you have, but when you're hosting, you kind of really want to focus on the rest of the people, you know, because you're not really thinking about like I'm hosting a Zoom open mic, thinking about like, oh, I'm hosting like a, an open mic for real or a show for real. So in that case, the show, if you're hosting a show, the show is not about the host. The show's about the comedians. You may be a comedian, but you're not tonight. You're gonna come up, you know, maybe do 5 minutes in the beginning. Maybe people won't even be listening to you because they're just getting their drinks, they're just sitting down and things like that. But your job is there to warm up the crowd, make sure the crowd is ready for the next person. Sometimes maybe somebody bombs and then the crowd's like, oh, I don't really like this guy, and they're not listening anymore. And so the host would come up after that guy bombs and kind of try to reset the room, to get them back to paying attention, back to being interested in the show, so that the next comedian who's coming up doesn't have an audience that just experienced a bomb and they're like, ugh, this show sucks. I'm ready to go home because of that last person. The host would like, I don't know, tell a good joke, somehow get their attention to get them back,
Yeah,
you know, into the show. That could be very rough. Like I haven't had much experience with like a heckler, just a very little, and kind of I I froze like, oh, maybe if I just don't say anything, she'll just shut up, and she didn't, and I was the host, and I should have been the one to quiet her down before I
yeah,
even brought up the next comedian, you know. But it was the first time that I hosted, so I just let her talk.
was it
And
online?
huh?
Was it online?
No, it was in person. And so like I just let her talk, and then the next comedian came up and she's yelling things at them and talking, you know, trash to them, and I'm like, oh, I did a bad job because I should have quieted them down or went over and you know, after I got off the stage, grabbed them, pulled them aside, talked to them like, hey, you can't be doing that shit, you know, whatever it is, so that the show can continue for everybody else, you know. It's weird how one person wants to be the center of attention in the audience, you know. You can
Yeah,
come to open mic, you can tell jokes, but you want to do it the easy way and just come and ruin somebody else's hard work and hard show that they, you know, put all this work into this show, and then you come and ruin it for not just the comedians but everybody else who's at the show, you know.
yeah,
It's kind
and
of
I don't get surprised when I know about this when I hear about these people, because I feel that humans, if they get the wrong education and the wrong growing up programming, they could be worse than animals. So it's really normal. What do you think as a teacher?
I mean, yeah, I think we are all animals, of course, and we all receive different educations and different things through our upbringing. So we learn things from our parents, we learn things from our religion, our teachers, our schools, our books. Now we're learning things from the internet that maybe some of it might be true, some of it maybe not be true. So it's always things that we're supposed to be learning. And I think like if you're not getting outside of your comfort zone, then maybe you're not learning as much as you should be. So you should always be, kind of making some challenges, making some changes, maybe being in positions that you do feel uncomfortable with, so that you can see how to get yourself out of those situations and how to handle it and how to respond to those things. And oftentimes, like, I think many people maybe don't do that thing, or don't do those things. So I don't know. I think education is important, but I've heard people say, yeah, the teacher needs to teach my child that. No, like you're a parent, you need to teach them about respect before they ever come to school. That's not something I can help with it and show them how to respect the person. But if you didn't teach them that type of thing at home, then that's going to be a difficult task to start doing it now, especially when I'm trying to teach math or English or something else. So it's kind of interesting. I like teaching. I need to get a better job, I guess. It's kind of interesting to learn about other people in a different culture, a different country. And they're just like me. They got jobs, they got families, they got problems. We talk about those things. It's pretty interesting to listen to people.
Oh man, I don't know. You bring me to my childhood because I was a very bad student. I was, and I feel you now. Like we had one teacher, and we used to piss him off. So all the class we would do like this or just like this and keep doing like. Did you get me?
Yeah, like hum.
Yes, and this teacher would look behind, and all our mouths are closed, but because all the class is doing, it's like the voice is so freaking weird.
You guys hear that? Does anybody hear that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and man, that teacher was like now I do understand that the teacher, his kid might died, or his kid is sick, or maybe his wife is has cancer, or but when we are kids we really don't know. And when our parents doesn't teach us at home, like you are not expecting anything from the teacher. You are just like ruining the teacher life with your kids. So it's really sad. I was, and that teacher was like getting angry, like he was losing control, jumping, destroying things.
Mhm.
I don't know, it's nighttime for you. I just want to know for how long we can go. I'm happy to
Oh,
talk.
it's all right. Yeah, I'm okay. So with, yeah, I was gonna say something, now I forgot. Yeah, it's weird. Like children, do you have any children?
So I'm 23.
Oh, okay, you're very young. You shouldn't have any children that early.
Yeah, I think I shouldn't have.
Um, yeah, the children are, I don't have any children myself, but like you're supposed to teach them. It's interesting, like with teaching in the way that I would think is, and I've had some students like, you're supposed to teach me this, and like, I can give you the information. I can show you how to find this information on your own so that you don't need me to help you to learn pronunciation of a new word or something. I'm going to show you how to learn about this yourself, so that next time you have a question, you can go figure it out yourself. I'm not going to hold your hand, if you, I learned this new like mantra, like a phrase or a saying that I want to keep saying to myself. It says, if you put in the work, it will work. So if you're doing what you're supposed to do, it may take you a little bit longer to get where you want to go, you want to do comedy, then that's a long road to go, you know. And now, after I say that, after looking back, and I think my writing and everything really got better over the pandemic. I was like, I'm at home for a long time, so I have that time to to take a nap, which I did a lot of. And then I was like, no, I gotta get everything together. I need to start getting my jokes organized, getting them wrote down in my computer so that I always have them. You know, I have a lot of things wrote in notebooks, but you can't just be sitting there flipping through a notebook looking for, oh, here's the beginning of this joke, here's the middle, and here's the end, you know, something like that. You got to put it all together. And I create a Word document, and I say each joke is one Word document. But so I was talking about learning. It's better if you want to learn. If the student doesn't want to learn, there's nothing the teacher can do to make them learn. Like I tell my students, like, I'm going to take you there. I'm going to show you the things that I know. I'm going to give you some pointers. We're going to do our lesson. It's up to you how much work you put into it afterwards. You know, are you going to take one lesson a day every week? That's 7 hours of class, or 7 hours of language practice. Or you're going to do an extra hour after the lesson. So you're doing 2 hours a day. Or maybe if you can, maybe you can do 3 hours. Or if you have a place where you work with other English speakers, you go to lunch with somebody. There's a little bit more time. But it's the same thing like comedy. It's not necessarily 100% always true, but they say, you know, to be good at something, you have to spend 10,000 hours doing it. So writing, going up on stage, hosting, all of these different things that are involved in being a comedian. So again, you can always learn something from every aspect, you know. And if you watch other people, you see different ways to do things. You might, I'm not saying you're gonna like take something, but you might pick something up and like do something that you learn from someone else. I don't think that that's like, I'm not saying steal their joke word for word. I'm just saying like, oh, that's a funny word, or that's a funny phrase. That maybe you could write a joke about it. Or, you know, like just the way that they hold themselves on the stage. They got their microphone. Are they confident? You know, what do they do to interact with the audience? You know, you can learn something from everyone. Everyone's a teacher if you are willing to learn from that person or that teacher.
Yeah, that's why I'm even doing this. I learn a lot from you so far. You can always learn. It's not, I'm not stealing.
I'm just on my path. So like, I don't know. I think I put in a lot of work. I know there's a lot more to go. I do feel good about this. Like, I don't know. It was probably in the last few months that it kind of happened to where I was like, wow, for some reason, I really feel good about the amount of jokes that I wrote over the past year. I think I wrote last year, I want to say 30 minutes, but I haven't really figured it all out. But I got a lot of new jokes. You know, I did a lot of 5-minute sets about random things. So I have a lot of things wrote, and that's I think one thing about being a comedian is you're actually a writer. You know, you're just writing things, and it took me a long time to understand that, or to want to write. And I still don't write as much as I tell myself I need to. But I know that, you know, each little bit helps. Each day you try to do a little bit more. Put in the work, you know, like I heard from something, it said, if you want to be a screenwriter, you want to write movies, or you want You want to do this, you want to do that, whatever it is you want to, there's most likely something you can do before. So you want to write a movie, write the movie. One day you might get into like a taxi cab, and in the back seat of that taxi cab is a man who makes movies, and you have a conversation with him, and he's like, oh, you have a script, you want to make a movie, send it to my office, I'll read over it. If it's good, we'll see what we can do. Maybe we'll buy it from you, maybe we'll help you to produce it, whatever it is. And you're like, okay, yeah, I do have a script. Is it up here and it's going to take me 3 months to write it, or is it already written and you have a good idea that you could take in, and maybe it needs to be changed and edited and fixed a little bit, but you have put in the work. Maybe not all of it, but a big part of it, so that's I guess what I was saying with the whole mantra thing. If you work it, then it's going to work for you. Depending on what you put into it, I think is what you get out of it. And I think that's equally about any type of thing that you want to do. You should always be getting better. If you're here, there's always here. It depends on what you want to do and where you want to take it,
That's true. I don't know if you have Netflix, but there is a show. This show, the name of it is Humans, the World Within.
Say that again.
Humans, the World Within.
Oh, okay.
So this show, I would say it speaks about what you just said, but based on science.
Mm-hmm.
I will let you to find it, and then maybe I can. Did you find it?
Yeah, well, I found the Netflix thing, but yeah. So I don't know what it is, but I'm sure I.
What I want to tell you about this show is that okay, it speaks about the human's brain in one of the episodes, and in our brain there is millions, or I think billions of see, I don't even know the science, but anyway, it shows you how strong is the machine that inside our head. Like there is neurons, there is millions of neurons inside our brain, and our I don't know, like systems. See, I am very stupid when it comes to these things. I crumble. I can do comedy, but now I'm done. But
I don't know. I mean, I looked at it. I'm probably gonna go download it or go watch it or something and check it out. It's only 6 episodes, so not too much. So it does look interesting. And I totally agree that our bodies are a machine. The first one says react. The guy has no arm, so I don't know what that one's about. The next one says pulse. So, I mean, that's about breathing. That's about your heart. Your heart's probably the most important part of your body. I mean, I guess your brain is probably important as well. But the third one says fuel. So like I don't follow the rules. I don't eat healthy, but I know that, what you put into your body is what you're going to get out of it. So the same type of thing with comedy, if you're just writing stupid jokes and you're just going to an open mic and having fun and having some beers, and you're not really spending the time doing the work, then that's what you're going to get. You're going to get like a bad body that's overweight, and you don't have anything. You got a shitty car. It's a bad life, because you're not doing what you have to do. And we all have to do the same things, but we all have to do them differently because we're all different people. But everything that you're dealing with is the same things that everybody else is dealing with. You're just doing it on stage in front of everybody else.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
all have
I
the same problems, you know.
Yeah, I don't wanna. I wanna say something. So, like this movie, you see the TV show. The third episode is talking about fuel and food. So, for
Mhm.
example, this episode, let's say I take you to show you how they dig for the gas, for the petrol, and then I take you and I show you when they recycle it, and then I show you when it's putting in the car, and then I show you when it become pollution. So this, for example, episode will show you the food, how it come to your body, how it become fuel, and it's fascinating for me.
Mm.
Just because I'm watching something that's happening inside me. Maybe they are lying to us, but I
No,
don't
I don't
think
think so.
so.
I mean,
Yeah,
I don't see why they would lie to you about something like that.
yeah, and
But who knows? I mean, yeah.
oh no, I'm not married. That's why I'm not married to my ideas. But
Hmm.
that's what I feel it's right. And the episode that they talk about the brain, you are like, oh my God, do I have this machine inside me? Like the brain is strong, and it gets stronger over time. It changed when you, as you said, like when you put yourself into uncomfortable situation, your seals every you change, you become new virgin.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what life about. Like I feel people who stay comfortable all their life, it's really sad,
Mm.
because it's
Yeah.
like you have the best, you have some giant like crazy machine, but you never used it.
Mm. Well, I would agree. Like it's kind of I like to say the things that I said. I like to feel that I believe those things. I mean, I do live in Vietnam. That's something totally different. When I did that, that was not something. It was something I always wanted to do, but it wasn't something that I had really prepared for. And my friend was like, "I'll be there. I'll go with you." And I've made some mistakes in the past. I've gotten into trouble with the police or with the law and things like that. So my friend was like, "Yeah, I'll be there to go with you," I'm like, "Okay." Well, that way my friend can help me. I can help my friend. You know, if there's any trouble, at least my friend knows, you know, what happened, or you know, we can help each other. And and then my friend was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna be there, so you know, I'm coming back in a couple of months after, but for that first month or so, I'm not going to be there. So you're kind of going to be on your own, and we'll just meet up at a later time." And I was like, wow. It took a lot for me to push the button to buy the plane ticket to go to Asia. Um,
Um,
and that was when I knew that my friend was going to be there to help me. And so like it took a lot to do that. After I did it, I was like, whoa, that was scary, but I did it. You know, it's already done. I can't change it. I bought the plane ticket. That's money I can't get back. So I got to go now, is the way I was looking at it. And then my friend was like, no, I'm not going to be there. I got scared, but I didn't pull away. And it's probably one of the best things that I've ever done in my life. Like the past 6 years of my life was pretty amazing. I've had so much fun. I got a little money in my bank account. I work very little. I've put a lot of time into my writing, into my comedy. Um, Sometimes it shows, sometimes it doesn't, but I mean, I'm still changing, still growing, still working to become better. So again, you like your body, like your fuel. If you put in cheap gasoline into your car runs like shit, you know. You got problems with your car. You put good fuel into your car, you don't have problems with that part of the car. Maybe something else. But if you're taking care of your car, you have no problems with your car because you're fixing the problems before they become problems. So the same thing with your food. If you're putting McDonald's and crap into your body, which I do, and even I drink too much, I know these things, but you got to try to make small changes, you know. And each day you make a small change, and then over time, you know, you have a big change. You're like, well, it's been 30 days. I've been making small changes, writing for 10 minutes a day or something like that, you know, something simple. Because when I say writing, I'm not saying you need to be writing a joke. I'm saying you need to just write something. So one of these exercises that I learned was if you don't have nothing to write about, you just sit down at your computer, sit down with your notebook, wherever you do your writing, however you do it, sit there, set your timer, pick a random number, 17 minutes, 15, 12, you know, some random number, and up to 20 or 30. And you can build to that number or whatever. But for me, when I did this, the few times I did it, it said, if you can't think of anything, just look around, you know, okay, there's a fan, there's my bed, there's a chair, there's clothes. Write those things down: clothes, table, chair, water bottle, beer can, air conditioner. And then you're like, oh, okay, air conditioner. It's really hot outside today in Ho Chi Minh City. And just start talking about what is in your mind, because there's a lot of things in your mind. And if you can get them out of your mind, oh, it reminds me, I got a grocery list, you know, let me write down some things that I gotta buy at the grocery store the next time I go. Ketchup and hot sauce, and I gotta buy some deodorant and some soap. You know, get it out of your mind. Just during that whole 17 minutes or however long that timer is, continue writing. If you can't think of something, write the word, you know, write what you see. And for me, again, I've only did it a few times, but once that timer goes off, then I was to a point where I was like, all right, I still got about 5 more minutes to finish this story that I'm typing about something that happened to me when I was a child. We went on a family vacation and this happened. That wherever it is, like it took me to something that I didn't know where I was going. So at the end of the time, I was like, oh, I need to finish writing this because I'm probably never going to come back to it and write it again. And I just got those words on the paper and clear all this out of my head so that now I can maybe have a clearer thought about writing a joke. Or, you know, there's not all of these things that I have to do today. Grocery store, go to, you know, check the mail and go to work and cook dinner. It's not all of those things because I wrote them down on the paper and now they're out. You know, get it clear, and then maybe that can help you to be more clear about things that you want to talk about.
Yeah, that's true. I really don't know how other comedians go through challenges, because when that's also part of the process, because when I started writing comedy, I start writing about Earth and aliens. I'm like, what the fuck? And nobody cares. But then there is one comedian, his name is Rob. He's been doing comedy for 15 years and he's in New York. He told me, talk about Yemen, because do like you are the fish out of the water. And by that time, I was already writing every day. It was suck, it wasn't funny. But as you said, you need to try every day, and then it will just happen. You cannot expect like, oh, I don't have something funny, so I'm not gonna write.
There's like I did this workshop where they just give you a random topic and you have to write 5 minutes of jokes about this topic, and they give you feedback, and it is a very cool workshop. I don't think that they do it anymore, but very cool thing. And one of my writing topics was writer's block, which if you're a comedian, if you are writing, that thing that I just said was a way to get over writer's block. You know, just write, and then you'll get to something. But also it said there's, I don't remember them, but there's 4 steps to writing anything. So the first step is get your ideas on the paper, get your clear it out, get all of the things. If you got a topic, like sometimes I got a story, I don't know how I want to tell this story. I don't know what the words or what the sentence is. I don't know the punchlines. I just know that there's a story that I have in my life about this topic, and I'm going to make it into a joke. So sometimes I go to open mic and I have 3 bullets. I'm like, okay, I want to talk about these 3 things, see what happens. And I record those things, and then I can look over them and I can read them, and I say them a few times. I'll do a couple of open mics where I'm like kind of practicing the same thing, and I'll see what I like, what I don't like. Some things will stay, something. So it's kind of like I'm writing on stage, but then I'll do that a few times, and I can work really good on the fly. Like that's what I'm kind of learning. So I can make jokes no matter what. So then I can take pieces from different things and put them together and actually make my joke. So if I started on Monday and I did enough open mics, I could say by Friday, I could have 5 minutes of jokes without having written anything.
That's cool. That's cool.
But
Yeah.
it would be difficult, but I think I can do that. I have that capability, I think.
Yeah. No, trust me, you are really funny. Like, I really love to listen to you so much. Like, I don't know why, but I'm just like, you and Joshua are my favorite. That's why I wanted to do the podcast, all of us. I also want to ask you, they say that when you travel, like you left the US and you are in Vietnam, I'm sure you are a different person now. Like everything changed. Like, how would you explain that?
Well, maybe whenever I first came here, like whenever I first thought about leaving, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go away for 3 months. I'm gonna, be on the beach. I'm gonna be traveling. I'm gonna be having fun. I got this amount of money. I'm gonna be gone for 3 months, and I'll maybe come back and get my job. Maybe I'll have to find a new job. I'm willing to make that. So then after, like in the beginning, I was like, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna be alone. I'm gonna learn about myself. I'm gonna learn about other people. I'm gonna learn all the things I can about me, because there's gonna be no one to influence me but me.
That's good.
And so I think I went through a lot of changes in the beginning, and then there was a time where like I have been here for so long, I fell into like a rut, or just spinning in place. I'm stuck. I've been here for so long. I'm not moving forward, and maybe even fell back, from the things that I was doing in the beginning, and maybe not doing them so much. So it's kind of, again, it's always something we got to be working on. Who are you trying to be better than? The person you were yesterday. Sometimes we make mistakes. Yeah, it's a learning experience. You can always, made a mistake, no problem. How many mistakes have you ever made? Millions, hundreds, thousands, whatever. That's how we learn things. So if you're not looking at yourself in a situation to where you are understanding that you make mistakes, and it's very important that you acknowledge those mistakes so that you can learn from them, because there's sometimes people don't acknowledge that they made a mistake, and then they make that mistake many more times. My cousin's got 7 kids and he's an idiot. Like, I'm sure if he had another kid, he would do his best to be a dad. That's what he does. He busts his butt to pay for him. But it's because he made mistakes. I'm not saying his kids are mistakes, but he has made mistakes. So it's just, I guess, like you got to learn from those mistakes and kind of move forward. And Now that I think about it, I'm really good about giving advice, but I'm bad about following my own advice.
That's cool. That's cool. At least you are trying to get something out of the mistakes. Something.
No, yeah, again, it's just like comedy, you know. I think life, we're just always working to be better people. You shouldn't compare yourself to somebody else because they're on a different road. They started at a different time. They put in more work at home than you did. Whatever it is, they're not on your pathway, and you need to do what you need to do because it's totally different from what everybody else needs to do, but it's also so much the same as what everybody else needs to do, you know. Do what you know you have to do to make yourself a better person, and don't worry about anybody else but yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, your family, you can't change anybody but yourself. So you change the things you can change. Don't worry about the other things.
What you can control, huh? You should just focus on that. That's why I like talking to people who is like people like you, people who I feel that they are trying to say something nice. I don't care if you did mistake, if you didn't do mistakes. I'm 23, you know, I don't know when I was born exactly, but roughly. So I'm doing, I have done mistakes, but I'm still, you know, I'm still, like I have been trying to be my best even before. I haven't done big things or hurt people badly, and I'm doing my best to listen to people, so maybe I can go through the path with less mistakes, and it's very hard.
Oh, sure, yeah. But I mean, like again, it's back to like everybody's a teacher, you know. Everybody can teach you something.
Exactly.
And this isn't something that happened, but I've said it in my English class as like an example, you know. I could be standing on my balcony smoking a cigarette, and I look down and there's like some old lady crossing the street for some reason or whatever, and they don't look up and boom, they get hit by a car. Well, I mean, we all know we got to look up, and when we cross the street, we look and make sure that there's no cars coming before you cross. For me, like when I went to like America, we drive on the right side. Wait, yeah, I don't even know. It's been so long. Yeah, we drive on the right side of the road. So then like when I went to Thailand, no, we go, yeah, it's this way. It's this way and this way. So
Okay.
it's on the right side. I had to think about it. So, but then when I get to Thailand, they drive on the left side of the road. So in America, when you're crossing a street, you know, you look left and then you look right, and then you can cross the street, because when you're crossing the street, the cars are always going to be coming from your left in the first lane, and then from your right in the second lane, you know, in a two-way street. So in Bangkok, it was the opposite. So when I'm crossing the street, I should be looking right first, because the first lane of cars is on the left side.
Correct.
So it was, and it happens each time I go someplace where the traffic switches. It takes a few days to understand. I don't drive, so like I don't have to worry. I did drive in Thailand, but not in Bangkok, but very little. But like it was just totally different. I probably almost got hit by a car in Bangkok because I was running across the road and I looked this way. Oh, it's clear I can go. There's a car right there, like honking its horn and screeching its brakes. So if somebody was watching me cross the street, they're like, oh, wow, that guy's an idiot. He should have looked both ways before crossing the street, instead of looking one way and thinking it was clear to cross halfway and then looking the other way and crossing the rest of the way. You should have looked both ways, you know? So if somebody, you're looking at that person, you're like, wow, what an idiot, you know? They should have So you can learn something from people that you're not even
good.
having contact with. You know, that lady's down on the street and I seen her from my window. So it reminds you, like, hey, pay attention at all times. You know, you always got to be, you know, looking around. And it's not like I made that mistake before, you know, and it's weird how you feel comfortable in certain situations and you let your guard down, and then boom, you get hit in the face with the same mistake that happened 7 years ago. I learned this before, you know, I know this mistake. I shouldn't have made this, but you know, bad timing, whatever, everything just, you know, hit you at that one time. Okay, I got to remember this because it happened another time or it's happened again. So it's just another opportunity to remember something, to learn something, to get better. So we all make mistakes, you know. I like I said, I got in trouble with drugs. I was in trouble with the police. I've had bad relationships. I've had lots of, you know, things that happened in life. It's all part of who you are, you know, and that's why you got to focus on you. That's why you got to do the work. You know, nobody else is going to do the work to make you a better person. You may find a wife that maybe helps you to do that, or, you know, you might find somebody that can help you to do that. But again, if you're not putting in the work outside of the boxing gym, then there's somebody who is, and they're going to take your place before you can get there. So it just depends on what you want. You know, everybody's different. So what do you want? What do you want to do with comedy? I guess like maybe set yourself some goals. You know, because everybody's success, you know, everybody looks at success differently, right? Something that's, you know, my brother, to him, is have a good job, be able to take care of his 3 kids and his wife. That's success. He does that. For me, maybe having a comedy show every weekend where I get paid $500 for a Saturday night, you know, that would be freaking awesome. And I do, you know, 4 shows a month. But I don't know. That's just me. Maybe I'm old now and I'm wiser, but maybe it's just I've realized I've made mistakes and I'm trying to make differences and changes and stuff like that.
That's good. I really can feel like I'm so happy to talk to you. I have learned a lot from you, and sometimes when I listen to someone, you kind of have that good vibes and energy. And sometimes I would listen to someone and I would feel like I'm bored. I'm not interested. But listening to you is beautiful, and I can feel the good energy.
My students, they like my voice. I hear that. I've heard that before. They're like, teacher, we really like your voice. And it's okay, I don't know what I'm doing. It's not something I'm trying to do on purpose. It's just, I guess,
no, the most important is to be honest. I feel like you are honest with what you say, and that's important.
Well, I mean, again, like that's what I was saying, like with my jokes, and try to be truthful. I don't really. I'm probably not gonna not say something because it's gonna hurt your feelings. Like if I know something's gonna hurt your feelings, I'm probably still gonna tell it to you because you need to hear it. You know, like, hey man, that girl's not the right girl, you know, whatever it is. And I think sometimes I do come across as like an asshole. I guess I'm maybe sometimes not so friendly, but I do try to keep things honest. I do try to be truthful. That way I don't have to remember anything. You know, if I tell you a lie and I say something that's not true, and then I got to remember that. And it's like, if I tell you the truth, or I'm just being honest with you, I don't have to remember that because it's there. Like it wasn't something I had to put together. It's something that was already there. Or, you know, I don't need to make it up. I don't need to fake it.
Yeah, that's true. And one thing that motivates me not to do mistakes is we have access to our actions, but we don't have access to how we will feel in the future. And I feel that by doing less mistakes, you are increasing the chances of feeling good and feeling happy with yourself, which is you never know. Even if you do bad mistakes or good mistakes, you don't know how you will feel. But I feel like you will.
I mean, we're always working.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think my internet was bad for a second.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and I also feel that I don't know. It's weird. I also feel that we have also wolf inside our brain, and you have to keep that wolf. Do your best not to let it guide you. And I feel like for example, if I do mistakes, um, in the future, they will be just pain. Like I would think about them and I'm like, fuck, why did I do them? Or I will still want to do them more and more and more. It never ends. So when you close the door from the beginning, it's always good. And that's what I'm doing my best to do. I try to keep myself busy with comedy. I go to the gym. I do stuff like this just to keep myself busy. I also want to ask you, can you just tell me how many minutes you can be here just for me not to feel worried or stressed?
Oh, I mean, I guess we can end it whenever you're ready. I was gonna go to this writing group, but I think it already started. So,
Do you want to go now?
yeah.
Let's go. Let's go together. Are you going to the writing group for Ham?
Brian.
Yeah, let's jump in. Thank you so much,
All right.
everyone. Yeah, let's see you now.
Okay.
See you now. We wrap it up. Thank you. That was great. Let's go. I want to go too.
All right. Great
Love you, buddy.
conversation.
Thank you. That was great.
All right.